What's going down, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I say this at the beginning of every single video, or at least every single Android dogfight, but this might be the most epic dogfight I've ever done. I have in one hand the HTC Sensation 4G. Came out today on T-Mobile, and this is one that a lot of people have been waiting for, and it has a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, a front-facing camera, gingerbread with HTC Sense 3.0, and more. And then you have another huge industry heavyweight, the Samsung Galaxy S2. This one's been out for a little while longer, but it was announced at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and also has a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processor, 8-megapixel camera, and it's running Android 2.3 with TouchWiz 4, Samsung's TouchWiz UI, but the newest version. So which one's the best? This is going to be an epic battle because they're both high-end devices. They're both speed demons, but one has Sense, one has TouchWiz. Which one's going to be the best? We'll find out that and more in the dogfight. But first, special thanks to our guys at Best Buy. They hook us up with a ton of phones, probably some of these in the future, maybe some of these if they come to the States. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you don't deal with rebates, so if you walk in to buy the Sensation, for example, you don't have to deal with messy paperwork. You know, waiting 8 to 10 weeks, it's just frustrating. I don't like paperwork. I'm sure you don't either, so it's helpful to go into Best Buy Mobile. Enough of that, let's get into it. Dogfight style, industry champion over here, newcomer to the block, but also awesome over here. Who's going to win? Let's go check it out. Both of these are hot high-end Android phones, but the thing here that may distinguish one from the other, this one's available from a carrier, this one isn't. The HTC Sensation 4G came out today on T-Mobile for $199.99 after mail-in rebate and with a new 2-year agreement. Now, it's a powerful device, and it has a lot that a lot of people would like. It has Sense 3.0, which is HTC's newest version of their Sense user interface, and it's running Android 2.3 as well. So gingerbread out of the box. So it's up to date. It has a nice processor, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor. So it's Qualcomm's first dual-core device to hit the market in the US. You know, the Evo 3D is another one that's running 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor, but it's not out just yet. So you have that. You have a 4.3-inch QHD display, which, you know, I've worked with QHD displays in the past on devices like Motorola and more, and they've often been very pixelated. Not the case with this one. I'm going to try to get it up close out of the light so you can see, but I mean, a very clear, good-looking display. Been very pleased with it, and the image quality is absolutely fantastic. Now, the body of this device is what's awesome. It's a 4.3-inch display, but it's a 4.3-inch curved QHD display. Now, you don't see it as much with this one as you do with a device like the Nexus, but there is a curve to the display, and you really feel it when you're either up here doing the notification bar, for example, or you're down at the bottom working with one of the 4 capacitive buttons. It's noticeable rather, the curve. And then on the back you have an 8-megapixel camera with a dual LED flash. It's capable of shooting 1080p HD video, and what I really like is the way this battery cover comes off. It's a 1,520 milliamp hour battery, but actually you'll see it takes the grill, the earpiece grill, with it and then leaves the device behind, the kind of the shell of the device. So like I said, 1,520 milliamp hour battery there. You get an 8 gigabyte micro SD card out of the box, but it's a good looking phone. It has a front facing camera as well, and you can see that already some dust is getting under that, which may be a flaw in the design of the battery door, but there we go. Good look to it. And on the left side you have your volume rocker, micro USB charging port. Up here you have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and a power button. Now, in terms of design alone, if we were going based on design and this was a dogfight based just on design, the Sensation 4G would take the cake. In terms of the way it looks, it's a much better look to me than the Galaxy S2. Now, that said, there's a lot of plastic on this device. That's kind of historical Samsung plasticky devices. Some people love that, some people hate it, but I love the design of this. Love the two-tone gray here on the back with the metal strip. In terms of design, the Sensation 4G would take the cake. But this is dogfight, not just a design dogfight, so we'll cover that in just a second. Samsung Galaxy S2 over here, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Exynos processor over here. So it's running a Samsung dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 4.3-inch display as well. Now, this is a 4.3-inch display that has 540 by 960 pixels. This one has 480 by 800 pixels. This is a Super AMOLED Plus display, and I mean, true to its word, it's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful display. Now, on the display front, I think the Samsung Galaxy S2 outweighs the Sensation 4G. They're both great, but when I hold them side by side and take a look at the picture quality, there is a difference. It seems brighter, more vivid. The blacks are blacker over here on the Super AMOLED Plus display. Now, this is running Android 2.3 out of the box as well, so both are running gingerbread, and they're both running the latest versions of their respective user interfaces. This is running, like I said, Sense 3.0. This is running TouchWiz 4, which if you look back at all the stuff that's in the United States, it's all running TouchWiz 3. The Infuse is running TouchWiz 3. All the Galaxy S devices from last year excuse me, are running TouchWiz 3. This is running 4. So whereas 3 was a little bit fake looking to me and kind of paled in comparison to the Sensation 4G and Sense 3.0, and even some of the older versions of Sense, they've made some tremendous strides and improved it across the board. Now it's a really viable competitor. I like TouchWiz a lot, or TouchWiz 4 at least. I think it's a very close second to Sense, if not perhaps tying with Sense. So that's something you'll have to decide for yourself which one you like more. This has really grown on me. It's a huge improvement. It's much faster, and they've just done a great job. They really went back to the drawing board with it and made it look much better. So you have that. You have 7 home screens on both of these devices, 8 megapixel camera. Let me go back into the specs here. 8 megapixel camera on the back, also capable of shooting 1080p HD video. Front-facing camera up here, and then on your top you have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, power button over here on the right, micro USB charging port on the bottom, and then that typical Samsung hump down there at the bottom, as you can see, with the camera on the back. And you kind of have a texturized battery door, which gives it a nice feel when you grip it to make a phone call or send a text message. It's nice to have that texture on the back, but it's a very boxy device, and it has that typical European look that the original Galaxy S had, where it has the 2 buttons over here, the 2 capacitive buttons, menu and back, and then your physical home button. So whenever you're in an application doing something, you want to go back home, you just click that, and it takes you right back. I can't really underscore it enough that on HTC side and on Samsung side, these are their flagship devices. The Sensation 4G is HTC's, the Galaxy S2 is Samsung's, but when you look at it, and they don't really want you to know this, but when you look at it, the specs are pretty similar. 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processors on both of these, 8 megapixel cameras on both of these, 1080p HD video recording capabilities on both have front-facing cameras, both have Android 2.3, with their respective latest version of the carrier overlays, or manufacturer overlays, excuse me, Sense 3.0, TouchWiz 4. They're both awesome high-end phones. Now the real point of contention here for a lot of people may be the price. You can walk into a T-Mobile store today if you wanted to, buy this for $200 or off contract for around $500. This one not available from a carrier just yet. Hopefully it's coming. The rumor is summer for 1, 2, 3, or all of the carriers. So hopefully we'll see it at some point like we did with the original Galaxy S line, but right now not available in the States just yet. So you're stuck with buying it from a specialty retailer like Expansus or Amazon, eBay, something like that, and you're looking at around $780 for this device. So 780 big ones for a cell phone, because 1, it's popular, and 2, it's just an expensive phone. Or you could walk into T-Mobile and get this one for 200 smackers. So it's one of those things, that may be a point of contention for a lot of people, and while they both have their pros and their cons, price alone may push people to this one. But I really want to talk about, these are running flagship user interfaces, Sense 3.0, TouchWiz 4, and I really want to show you the differences between the two. Now obviously on Sense 3.0, you'll notice immediately out of the gate there's this change in the way the home screens look. There's this carousel look to it now. When you spin it fast enough, you'll see that the carousel will spin and spin. You can just see some different animations and things of that nature. So there are some changes there. Another change you'll notice is to the lock screen. When I bring it up right there, it shows me the weather. Instead of showing me what it used to show me where I had to swipe down, I take the circle and I swipe up. Or these 4 shortcuts here, these are my most commonly used applications that I personally have in here. I can bring down, let's say, phone, for example, pop that up, and make a phone call if I want to. So it's a cool little thing here, and what HTC's done a great job of is customization. And actually Samsung's caught on to this with TouchWiz 4 as well. But there's a ton of customization here. This one does have HTC Hub, which I've talked about in past HTC videos. It's basically a place, htcsense.com. You can go online, get wallpapers, get ringtones, get themes, and more for your device. So you're, a ton of customization ability. So what I'll do here is you'll notice that not only is that changed from 1.5 and 2.0 over to 3, but then this is here as well. That carries over from Sense 2.0. So you have this personalization menu with scene, skin, wallpaper, and lock screen. So we'll start with the lock screen. You have a ton of options here. You can make it just the general wallpaper if you want to, which is the way it comes out of the box. You can make the lock screen your photo album, your friend stream, weather, stocks, or clock. So I have it set on weather. Now here's where it's cool. I can go into settings and I can change these assigned applications. So let's say phone isn't one of my commonly used applications. Let's say calculator is. Bam. Done. And then I'll apply that so when it comes up, calculator's down there. in the bottom now, and I can swipe that straight down into the circle, or I can slide the circle up, and that brings me right back to where I was. So you have the skins just like you've had in past Sense 2.0 devices like the Thunderbolt, the Inspire 4G, etc. You have a couple different skin options here. Then you have the ability to get more from HTC Hub. Now you'll need an HTC Hub account, but once you're on there, they have a few extra skins. On here, out of the box, you get Blue Sky and Burgundy, and they all look exactly the same on here. What you'll notice the difference is the highlighting color. You'll see is Burgundy here and Blue Sky. Now I have Blue Sky active, and you can see when I go into the menu, you can see that the blue color is there. So just a lot of personalization options. They've really made Sense 3.0. I mean, it's an improvement. I mean, they continue to improve on Sense. That said, the overall design, the aesthetic, the way it looks, it hasn't changed that much. There's not a huge difference there. There's more of a change from TouchWiz 3 to 4 over here than there is from Sense 2 to Sense 3, in my opinion. So with the exception of the lock screen and the carousel, there aren't that many differences. Wallpaper, of course, you can change. Scene, you can change as well. And then you have the HTC widgets, which you all know that I'm a big fan of HTC's widgets. What I like about this is they have the calendar widget that's HTC, and then they have an Android calendar widget as well. So they preserve the existing ones and then bring in their own. And when you go to calendar, for example, you have a couple of different options. You have the month calendar here, you have an agenda-based calendar, and then you have a mini one. So you get a lot to choose from. You know, one size clearly doesn't fit all. So some people may want the month calendar, some people may want the agenda calendar. You have the choice of really making this device your own. So like I said, 7 home screens, and you can scroll through all of those, and it has that carousel look. And they've really done a great job of paying attention to detail. As you can see here, little detail thing there with a little Rolodex looking thing with the P's behind it. So you can see that they've really done a good job with that. Now this is running TouchWiz 4, which, I mean, I can't describe to you how much of a huge improvement this is over past builds of TouchWiz. TouchWiz 3 has nothing on this. And just to show you, 7 home screens as well here, and you can do the same thing. You can pinch, and it brings them out. Now you'll notice there's no lag on either of these devices, at least right now. When you pinch in and out, it's instantaneous. It works very quickly. So let's say I want to add a widget. This is something else you'll notice that's different as well. I can go through all the home screens up here while the widget menu is down here. So it's gone as that typical Android widget menu, which you know. I'm going to pull up the Droid Charge just for comparison so you can see here. That's the old Android widget menu. That's the new one on TouchWiz 4. So big improvement there. And then once I get into widgets, I have this awesome scrollable widget selection down here that I can choose from. And you'll see as I scroll up, they move with my finger. You can see they shift from side to side, kind of like a CD collection would digitally in some of the music applications. Like you can see they're all moving. When I move them fast, they all shift to the left and then shift to the right. To the left, to the right. Sorry. But you get a lot of options. Before, I used to criticize Samsung for not having enough widgets. Now they have a pretty decent amount of widgets out of the box. AccuWeather, Agenda, AP Mobile, Bookmark, Buddies Now. Then you have a bunch of different calendar options like you do on Sense. So this is another thing they've really stepped up their game. Month Agenda today, a bunch of different clocks, classic clock, unique modern. Actually, I'm going to leave that on so you can see that in the background. But days, digital clocks, a bunch of different ones there. You have email settings, mini paper, news and weather, picture frame, power settings, semi-clock, which is one I've installed, but program monitor. And then you get down here, voice settings, Yahoo Finance, and more. So just a ton of different things that you can do. Whereas before, really, you had FriendStream, you had a couple, or not FriendStream, I'm sorry, you had Buddies Now, and a couple of different options, and that's about it. So they've really done a great job there, and it's just a tremendous looking improvement. So I'll show you here what the notifications bar looks like. And that's a big improvement with the shortcuts up here to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, silent, and auto rotation. Now there's some improvements to this one as well. You get the applications that are running in the background just like you did on Sense 2.0. So once there's enough, I can scroll back and forth through those. But you see this quick settings tab down here. I can click on that and quickly access Wi-Fi, the hotspot, and more. And now HTC has kind of gone the way of Samsung, and they have their built-in file manager here where I can go to memory, I can kill everything that's running, refresh it, and see how much memory I save. So kind of similar to what you have over here. On this one, we can go into Task Manager, for example. I can clear the memory, and you can see, Samsung's had that for some time, so it's nice to see HTC jump on that bandwagon as well. So it's going to be a personal preference as to which one you like, which user interface you like, but I have to give the improvement here to the Samsung Galaxy S2. I mean, Sense is a big improvement, but it's not as much of an overhaul as you see on this one. I mean, this really jumped from last on my list to after using it and after realizing how fast it is, even with an overlay over Android 2.3, it's a huge improvement, and it's definitely worth looking at. I mean, you can just see how fast it is. And another thing you'll notice, gone are those icons, kind of the iPhone-ish boxy icons around the various apps. You can see they still scroll from left to right, kind of like iOS, but the boxes behind them are gone.